So what is going on, everybody? Today we're actually going to be talking about something that I really think needed to be said. And this all stems off of, we have the new title update and the new season 10 PTS going live tomorrow, right? So this video is actually filmed one day before. So if you guys end up watching this, I'm probably testing it, and I'm going to test it because I want to see what these new sets have, how they work, and that way I can show you guys videos on that. But there's a bigger issue here that I have with this whole adding more gear sets without fixing what we already have. So what I really want to do is I want to show you a few sets, and I want to talk about why I think it's cool to get all these new sets, but the problem that we're having, and the problem we'll continue to have, is we use them for a couple weeks, they go into our stash, and we never touch them again. With like some of the new exotics. I actually said this in the last season, right before last season dropped, when I did the PTS, I said, I feel like these exotics are cool, but I feel like some of them are underperforming. And I feel like people will use them at the very beginning, but then they'll go to in the stash and we'll go back to our old faithfuls. So the Catharsis is the one mask that, hey, that thing is a beast. Everybody loves it. But if you look at the blue screen and you look at the Dread, both of them, I hardly see people really using them here and there, but I'm sure if they look at the data, they could probably see that. So what we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna go over, we're gonna be taking a look at some sets that could definitely be worked on. So let's talk about it. We might as well start with 511, right? 511 brand set has to be probably one of the most underused sets. Ever since they nerfed Clutch, if you guys remember, Clutch, when it first came out, was actually one of the metas, and health was a huge thing. So you wanted to stack a little bit of health on your build so that way you could actually take advantage of Clutch. Well, 511 One Piece is actually 10% health, and nobody uses health in this game. So nobody really wants to waste a One Piece 511 on any of their builds. And then for the 2-piece, you have 20% incoming repairs, and unless you're running with the healer build, it just doesn't work as well, so people still don't use it. And you could probably get that 10%, well, never mind. You can get that 10% hazard protection in other ways where you can still benefit your build. So it's not even worth it running a 3-piece 511. And that's the biggest issue. Like, you sacrifice so much for a 3-piece that you're not even gonna run it. And I feel like this isn't the only set. There's multiple sets that do that. You have the Gilligard, right? The 1-piece gives you 5%. But right now, 5% total armor isn't worth the amount of damage you might want to put on a build to stack other things. So you kind of ignore that, right? So a lot of people don't use Gilligard as much. Maybe we should go back to when it was 10%, bump it up. It did get nerfed back in the day. And maybe some of the sets have gotten so powerful that we need to bring up the other sets so they're all kind of equal. And this is one of them. The 5% total armor, yeah, you could put it on to get a little bit more armor, but in reality, there are a lot of better sets that you could use to have that 1-piece or 2-piece, you know? So the 2-piece on this has 10% health. This is what I'm talking about. There are just so many brand sets that we already have that just aren't usable or just aren't worth it. And we can continue on with brand sets, but what about gear sets? You know, there are a lot of gear sets, and let's see if I have a few on here for you. I really feel one that took a big nerf was the Aces and Eights, because you remember the Aces and Eights, actually the buff actually worked for your teammates, and it was a team build, sniper build, right? Like when you used to run it in the raid, your whole team would benefit from you proccing, and that's not a case anymore, you know? So that's another thing. I think they need to relook at some of these brand sets and bring them back. The True Patriot set got nerfed a few patches back, and I really feel the same thing. They nerfed it so much. While it's still pretty decent, it's pretty good, it's not as powerful as some of the other sets that we currently have out there. And the list goes on, and there's actually one I wanted to show you. I hope I have it here. Let me pull it up for you real quick. Strikers, right? Strikers is one of the good examples because you guys know that we have the new Heartbreaker set, and Heartbreaker just blows away what Striker does. Now, ideally, if they really wanted to fix Strikers, that 2-piece, you could actually put some type of weapon damage. So if you wanted to put SMG damage, AR damage, maybe not rifle damage, you want something faster, LMG damage, something that's going to give people an incentive to use a two-piece, plus you have that rate of fire. Now we're talking. Now more people will be like, all right, you know, strikers two-piece gives you 15% weapon handling, but if you guys add some, like maybe 15% assault rifle damage, 15% LMG damage, now you have that plus the 15% rate of fire, people might start actually running a three-piece. And then if you improve Striker's Gamble, which a lot of people don't use because it's not as good as Heartbreaker. So there's a lot of sets that we already have that honestly just need to be fixed, and people would be happy. Like, imagine if they went back and they really tweaked a lot of these brand sets and gear sets. I'm not talking about nerfing the good stuff. I'm talking about leaving what's good, and then bringing everything up, right? What if they actually improve these sets so people had more combinations, you know? People would run more gear sets. People wouldn't just run some of the fan favorites, Hunter's Fury, Heartbreaker, like stuff like that. That's in my opinion why I'm not very happy with just always getting new sets, right? Because we just get more sets, we throw it in, and then we don't even use them again. Like this new set, I'm not sure if I'll enjoy it, but that's why I'm going to play the PTS and give you my honest opinion. And then the same thing with the brand sets. The brand set right off the bat for me doesn't look like it's worth it. The one piece gives you 10% skill haste. I can stack enough skill haste on a piece, so I'm already gonna lose that one piece, right? The two piece gives you one skill tier, which a lot of people say it could be a hybrid build, but you're literally already giving up one piece. So you're sacrificing one whole piece just for a skill tier. When in reality, you could actually build a hybrid a whole different way. I just don't see it. Like, I think you're gonna lose some type of damage in there, whether you're doing skill damage, whether you're doing some hybrid build, you're gonna lose something there. So there is just a lot that I don't know yet because I need to play the PTS, but I will tell you, I really think that yes, players will play with these sets when they first come out because that's how it always is, right? Like when we get all these new sets, we start putting them together. We're like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. We make builds around it, we make it work. And then what we do is we just throw it in the stash, right? We don't play with it. And that's what I don't want to happen to this. I don't want to go into my stash. We're going to go look, right? I don't want to go into my stash and realize, you know what? I have all these new gear sets just sitting here, right? Like let's go take a look at it. I just have gear sets, non-stop gear sets in here in my stash. I have exotics I hardly use. Some of them are better than others, but like there are like the Sawyer knee pads that could definitely be improved. Maybe that as long as you're in cover and you're sliding around, like you'll keep that stack up, you know, like there's a lot of different things that they could improve on these sets and these exotics to make them more powerful. And we're not even talking about weapons, because like I have all these God roll weapons in here. Look, I have a ton of God roll weapons. We look at them. There's a lot of max roll weapons. And you know how many of these I use? None, because this is my second character, and I'm just hoping one day they go back and they bump up the damage on some of these so that they're more usable. Because as of right now, LMGs for me just underperform a little bit more than others. You have some of the SMGs still do well, but a lot of them aren't performing as well. ARs have a ton of good ARs and they have a ton of bad ARs. I would love to use a G36, right? Like one of my favorite ARs. I would love to use some of the ACR, one of my favorite ACRs. It just doesn't perform as well as some of the newer weapons. And that's my thing. We have so many good weapons in the game, and really just focus on those, right? Like improve those. To me, would create more hype than just throwing new sets, new exotics all the time, right? Do a rework on some of the, like improve some of the other ones. If you want to keep adding sets, if you want to keep adding brand sets, okay, do that. But don't forget about all the other gear pieces, all the other sets we have that are just taking up space. And that is my biggest gripe with this whole, let's keep throwing new exotics, let's keep throwing new gear sets, which is cool because you create new builds. But if you actually fix the old ones, we would have way more builds. And that's my biggest thing. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm gonna be testing the PTS tomorrow, guys. Just so you guys know, I'll have videos up and I'll edit them, and I'll go through all of them. I'll go through the exotics, the brand sets, the gear sets, my initial impressions. And then as I play the PTS, then I'll revisit what I thought about them. And then I'll try to create some type of builds around them, see how I like it, and hopefully bring you guys something pretty cool. But as of right now, guys, I'm telling you, I am a little disappointed, and I think this really needed to be said. Hopefully the devs take note, and hopefully they don't forget about all the really cool sets we have, and they work on those, improving them, adjusting them, making them stronger, and that way, and even those talents, some of those talents we don't even use anymore. What about the weapon talents, the gear talents, the chest talents, the backpack talents? A lot of talents that just sit and we never use them, right? We use the same ones over and over because those just outperform all the other ones. How about even when you nerf those, some talents, we still don't use the other talents. They're just not good. Fix them, help make them better. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. Hey, appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.